Right now, I am here in the St. Luke's Church located in the heart of Abbottabad city. This is one of the oldest and most significant Christian religious structures in entire Hazara region. Established during the British colonial period, this church stands as a symbol of faith, architectural elegance and historical continuity. The history of St. Luke's Church is closely linked with the establishment of Abbottabad itself. The city was founded in 1853 by Sir James Abbott as a military cantonment of British India. As British troops, administrators and their families settled in the area, the need for a permanent church became evident. Construction of the church began in 1854. Progress was initially slow due to limited funding and was further interrupted by the War of Independence of 1857. After several years of work, the church was completed and formally consecrated in 1864 by the Bishop of Calcutta. It became the principal Anglican church for the entire Hazara region. During the British period, the church's jurisdiction extended far beyond Abbottabad, covering Haripur, Mansehra, the Galiath hill stations and surrounding settlements. St. Luke's Church is regarded as one of the finest examples of Gothic revival architecture. This structure was built using finely dressed grey stone blocks, giving it a solid and majestic appearance. The main entrance, sometimes referred to as the Queen Victoria Gate, features a large pointed arch and a heavy wooden door. Inside, visitors find a spacious nave furnished with traditional wooden pews and a timber hammer beam roof typical of Victorian church design. One of the most fascinating aspects of the church is the traditional construction technique employed. Historical accounts mention that the local materials such as mud, lentils, jute fibers, sawdust, and egg-based mortar were used in parts of the structure, reflecting a blend of European architectural concepts and indigenous building practices. The church was established primarily to serve British military personnel stationed in Abbottabad cantonment. Over time, however, it evolved into the spiritual center of the Christian community throughout the Hazara region. The church was built primarily to serve British military officers and administrators stationed in Abbottabad and surrounding region. Before its establishment, religious services were irregular and conducted by the visiting chaplains from nearby cities such as Peshawar and Rawalpindi. St. Luke's Church is far more than an old colonial building. It is a living monument that reflects the history of Abbottabad, the legacy of British India, the growth of Christianity in Hazara region, and the spirit of interfaith coexistence in Pakistan. For historians, architects, and visitors alike, the church offers a fascinating glimpse into more than a century and a half of religious, cultural, and architectural heritage. Standing gracefully amid Abbottabad's scenic landscape, St. Luke's Church continues to remind visitors that the city's history is woven from many traditions, communities, and stories that together form its unique identity. This is the main gate of the St. Luke's Church. Across the road stands the historic Lady Garden, a notable feature of the city that has been associated with Abbottabad since the colonial era. Just across the road lies another important historical feature, Lady Garden, which is located directly opposite St. Luke's Church. I am here in the Lady Garden, and on my right, across the road, is the St. Luke's Church. On my back is the reading room of the Lady Garden. Lady Garden was established in 1853 by Sir James Abbott. The garden formed part of the early cantonment planning of the city and was situated adjacent to St. Luke's Church, creating an integrated colonial social and religious complex. It was designed exclusively for British women and children, and local residents were not permitted to enter the premises. Originally, Lady Garden was part of the church estate. The church complex included worship spaces, residential and service buildings, educational facilities such as Sunday school, and garden spaces like Lady Garden. Together, these elements formed a self-contained colonial enclave that catered to the spiritual, social, and recreational needs of the British community. One of the most culturally significant features of Lady Garden was its reading room, established in 1930. It was built specifically for the women of British officers and functioned as a quiet social and intellectual space, providing access to newspapers and books. After independence, Lady Garden was separated from the church and transformed into a shared public space accessible to the general population. For a long time, the reading room and library were managed in an organized and professional manner. However, the library has now been relocated from this place, and many valuable old books are no longer available to the public. Recently, a few books have been placed in this space, and efforts are underway to revive the library. The library and reading room once served as a center of knowledge and a meeting place for people eager to learn, but now it is merely a room with few newspapers. Another part of the building, which was once used as part of the reading room and library complex, has been converted into a commercial shop where items produced by the Vocational Institute are sold. Moreover, the name of the park has been changed from Lady Garden to Cantonment Public Park. Historically valuable books, magazines, and newspapers have already been removed from the site. With the passage of time, the rich British era history associated with Lady Garden is gradually fading. However, in the middle of the park, there is a deeply moving verse engraved on a piece of white marble. It is a poem written by Sir James Abbott about the town of Abbottabad. I remember the day when I first came here and smelt the sweet Abbottabad air. The trees and the ground covered with snow gave us indeed a brilliant show. To me the place seemed like a dream, and far ran a lonesome stream. The wind hissed as if welcoming us. The pines swayed, creating a lot of fuss. And the tiny cuckoo sang it away, a song very melodious and gay. I adored the place from the first sight, and was happy that my coming here was right. And 8 good years here passed very soon, and will leave you perhaps on a sunny noon. Oh Abbottabad, we are leaving you now. To your natural beauty do I bow. Perhaps your wind's sound will never reach my ear. My gift for you is few sad tears. I bid you farewell with a heavy heart. Never from my mind will your memories thwart.
जी 400 रुपये